creating a level 1 Amar Barbarian today on Dungeons and Taverns. Hello, I'm Saul Sunforge and welcome to Dungeons and Taverns. Today's video I'll be creating a level 1 Barbarian, which is the next class in the series that I have going called So You Want to Be, and each one is so you want to be a Barbarian, so you want to be a Fighter, so you want to be a Warlock. And I'm going through and creating a level 1 character for each class. Today we're going ahead and creating an Amar Barbarian. Feel free to follow along as I guide you through the process. At the end, you can download the Barbarian that I create in the Google Drive link pinned in the comments section below. If you enjoy my content, then give it a thumbs up and a subscribe. I upload multiple times throughout the week, and I don't want you to miss a thing. Barbarians are the rough and tumble frontline defender. Due to their rage ability, they make a great tanking option as they can mitigate damage and pull it from other less hardy party members. They usually have a lower AC because they don't wear any armor, but their long-lasting resistance to damage while they're raging makes up for it. Barbarians can dish out a lot of punishment, and they can also take a lot themselves, so it's a pretty good choice if you want to make a level 1 character. Today's Barbarian is going to be Erdlin, an Amar. You can find Amar on page 104 of Volos Guide to Monsters. If you don't know what an Amar is, it's essentially a human that has been touched with powers from Mount Celestia. And as an Amar, you get to speak to your angel, your diva, as advice or omen through your dreams. And that's for your DM to come up with those dreams and things like that. But that's a pretty cool aspect. That's about as D&D as you could get, really. Alright, so we're going to pick a Protector Amar. So in addition to the +2 charisma that you get for picking Amar, a Protector Amar gets an extra +1 to their Wisdom. And then at 3rd level, they get to use their action to unleash divine energy within themselves, causing their eyes to glimmer, with 2 luminous incorporeal wings to sprout from their back. Your transformation lasts for 1 minute, or until you end it as a bonus action. During it, you have a flying speed of 30, and once on each of your turns, you can deal extra radiant damage to one target when you deal damage to it with an attack or a spell. The extra radiant damage equals your level. Once you use this trait, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. So that's pretty sweet. So that means you're going to be a flying barbarian crashing across the battlefield. That's awesome. That is an awesome picture in my head. So Amar, they age the same as humans do, like maturity and things like that, but they live up to 160 years. So we're going to make Erdlin, we're going to make her 37. For her height, same thing, they're medium-sized creatures. They have a height range around the same as humans do. So we're going to make her a rather tall female human. So that would be like 5'7", I'd say. And then for her weight, we'll make her 123 pounds. We'll give her blue eyes. We'll give her a purplish tint to her skin, like a light purple. And then her hair can be blonde. Yeah. No, her hair can be dark black. How about, instead of blue eyes, let's give her gray eyes. Amar start out with the light cantrip, which is very handy. You have resistance to necrotic and radiant damage. I decided to bring you with me. So here we are, page 104, Volos. But here we are specifically. Their speed, their size, their alignment. They have dark vision, so that means they can see in dim light out to 60 feet as if it was regular light. And then if it's dark, they see it as if it's dim light, so they can't discern color in darkness, but they can see different shades of gray. And then Healing Hands is a really nice one too. As an action, you can touch a creature and cause it to regain a number of hit points equal to your level. Once you use this trait, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. They speak Common and Celestial. And then we already picked a Protector sub-race. Alright, so let's go ahead and roll up our stats now. We roll 4d6, and then we drop the lowest, and we do it 6 times, and then we'll go ahead and go back to the character sheet and put our stats in. Alright, the first one, an 11. That would be 14. That's a 10. That is a 15. That is a 15. That's a reroll. And then a 14. So there we go with their stats. This character is going to be pretty well rounded. There's not going to be too much stuff on the high end, but there's not going to be anything on the low end either. So it's going to be a pretty good character. Solid all around. Alright, so for a Barbarian, you want Strength and Constitution to be your highest scores, followed probably by your Dexterity. The 1 and 2 in your Wisdom and your Charisma help. You could put those lower stats in there. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put the 11 in Wisdom, so 11 and 1, that from the racial bonus is a 12. And then that 10, we're going to go ahead and put in Charisma, and 10 plus 2 is 12. Alright, so you round down to even, so if you have a 15, you would round it down to a 14. Then you divide it in half, so 14 and a half is 7. 7 minus 5 is 2. That's how you figure out your bonus there. 14 and a half is 7. 7 minus 5 is 2. 15 rounded down is 14, and a half is 7. Minus 5 is 2. Same thing with that one. 12 halved is 6, minus 5 is 1. Same thing here. 12 halved minus 6 is 6, minus 5 is 1. Alright, so you can see here from page 47 of the player's handbook that the Barbarian starts out with a 12 for their hit points. At first level, you get 12 plus your Constitution modifier. Our Constitution modifier is a 2, so that means we get 14 health at the level 1. But each level after that, when you level up, you roll a d12, and then you add your Constitution modifier to that. Or you could take the average on a d12, which is a 7. So if you think your luck is great, then go ahead and test your luck. But if you roll lower than a 7, then you keep it. So it's up to you. Alright, so on page 143 of the player's handbook, you can find the starting gold. The starting gold for a Barbarian is 2d4 times 10. So let's go ahead and roll that in now. Alright, so we rolled up a 5. So 5 times 10 is 50. So we start out with 50 gold. Before I get further in the character sheet, I wanted to go ahead and cover the Primal Paths. What's up, everybody? I had a part that didn't record very well, so I'm going to just go ahead and re-record it, because I still have my notes that I took on the Primal Paths. Every class, generally has different paths they can follow. Like, the bards have colleges, and the druids have circles, and wizards have schools. Well, barbarians are no different. They have what are called paths. Primal Paths, specifically. They start on page 49 of the player's handbook. Path of the Berserker is you thrill for chaos of battle. When you enter a rage, let me take my glasses off because my eyes are hurting. When you enter a rage, you can frenzy. You can make a single melee attack on your bonus action. And then when your rage ends, you suffer a level of exhaustion. So it's sort of a risk-reward situation. But exhaustion in 5th edition isn't really that terrible or debilitating until much later. Then you have the Path of the Totem Warrior. You choose a spirit animal, and battle your totem spirit fills you with supernatural might. Choosing a bear, eagle, or wolf, with each spirit changing your abilities, depending on which one you choose. Page 9 of Xanathar's Guide to Everything has more paths on it. The Path of the Ancestral Guardian. You could call on your past ancestors to grant you power and protection to protect you against the living. Then there's the Path of the Storm Herald. Transforms your rage into a powerful storm magic, choosing desert, sea, or tundra to change the effects of that magic. And then you have the Path of the Zealot. Warriors who channel their rage into displays of divine power. And finally, you have page 24, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. You have the Path of the Beast. When you rage, you can transform into a beast. And then the Path of the Wild Magic. You get to roll on the wild magic table for some cool effects and be able to locate magical items and spells within 60 feet of you. So you can see there's a whole bunch of choices according to what path you choose. And just like every character, each path changes your character up just a little bit, and eventually it adds up to a good amount of changes. So that's why really in D&D no character could truly be the same. They're all yours. Barbarians are proficient with their strength and their constitution saving throws. They're also proficient with light and medium armor, shields, simple and martial weapons. For their skills, the barbarian gets to learn 2 from animal handling, athletics, intimidation, nature, perception, or survival. We'll go with perception and survival. So you go down to the little bubble here and you just fill it out. It means that you're proficient. So whenever you fill out these skills numbers here, using your bonuses, the ones that you're proficient in, you just add your proficiency bonus. At level 1 it is a 2. Alright, so let's go over the starting equipment real quick before we move on. Category A is a great axe, or category B is any martial melee weapon. So we'll go with the great axe. And then category A is 2 hand axes, or category B is any simple weapon. So we'll go with the 2 hand axes. And then an explorer's pack and 4 javelins. So let's go ahead and look at the explorer's pack now. Alright, we're on page 151 of the player's handbook. And you can see there the explorer's pack, it's worth 10 gold. It includes a backpack, a bedroll, a mess kit, a tinderbox, 10 torches, 10 days of rations, and a water skin. The pack also has 50 feet of rope strapped to the side of it. So we're going to go ahead and add those individual items into the inventory. Alright, next up is we got to pick a background that will affect our skills. And then once we finish that up and add anything to our inventory or our currency that we may need to add from the background, then we'll go ahead and do out the skills, the saving throws, and we'll get out of here. We'll be done. The backgrounds start in the player's handbook on page 127, but we're going to Folk Hero on page 131. All right. You come from a humble social rank, but you are destined for so much more. Already the people of your home village regard you as their champion, and your destiny calls you to stand against the tyrants and monsters that threaten the common folk everywhere. So, let's see here. We'll get animal handling and survival. And then we get 1 type of artisan's tools, vehicles, land vehicle, and a set of artisan's tools of our choice. A shovel, an iron pot, a set of common clothes, and a belt containing 10 gold. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and give him proficiency in Cobblers Tools. Due to the background, we get to choose a proficiency in one of the tools. And so we're going to go ahead and pick Cobblers Tools because that's very practical. Fixing up your shoes when you're adventure traveling, your shoes are going to get busted quite often. So that's very practical. Alright, since we're back on the character sheet and not in the handbook, I'm going to go ahead and bypass this personality trait, ideal bond flaw part right now that you get from your background. So we're going to go ahead and figure out our saving throws and our skill checks now, since our background already has given us the final 2 skills that we're proficient in. So let's do that now. So what I do is I go from bonus to bonus, starting at strength, and the only thing that is in strength is athletics, and since we're proficient, it's 2 plus 2, because a proficiency bonus is 2, and our skill bonus here is a 2 from our ability score. Alright, so then we go to dexterity, and we have acrobatics, so that's a 2. And we have stealth, that's a 2. And we have sleight of hand, that's a 2. Alright, and then we go to constitution, and 5th edition there are no constitution skill checks, so we bypass that and go to intelligence. Our intelligence bonus is a 2. So arcana, history, investigation, nature, religion, and then we go to wisdom. Our wisdom bonus is a 1. So animal handling, but we're proficient, so it's 2 plus 1, it's a 3. Insight, we just get the normal 1. Medicine, that's a normal 1. Perception, but we're proficient, so it's 1 plus 2, so it's a 3. And then survival, we're proficient, so 2 plus 1 is 3. And then finally we have charisma, so that's a bonus of 1. So we have a 1 in deception, intimidation, performance, persuasion. And those are done. And then let's go up to our saving throws. And we're proficient with our strength save, so we add our 2 plus our proficiency bonus to get a 4. Our dexterity is just a 2, because that's what our ability score bonus is. Constitution is 2, plus we're proficient, so we add the proficiency bonus, so that's a 4. Intelligence is a 2, we're not proficient, so it's just a regular 2. Wisdom is a 1, and charisma finally is a 1. Alright, so after we pick our tools and our proficiencies, then we have a defining event. You previously pursued a simple profession among the peasantry, perhaps as a farmer, miner, servant, shepherd, woodcutter, or gravedigger. But something happened to set you on a different path and mark you for greater things. Choose or randomly determine a defining event that marked you as a hero of the people. And we have, let's see, I stood up to a tyrant's agents. Doesn't feel right. I saved people during a natural disaster. Maybe. I stood alone against a terrible monster. That doesn't really feel terribly right as a level 1. I stole from the corrupt merchant to help the poor. I led a militia to fight off an invading army. I broke into a tyrant's castle and stole weapons to arm the people. I trained the peasantry to use farm implements as weapons against tyrant soldiers. The Lord rescinded an unpopular decree after I led a symbolic act of protest against it. A celestial fae or similar creature gave me a blessing or revealed my secret origin. Or recruited into a lord's army, I rose to leadership and was commended for my heroism. So let's pick I saved people during a natural disaster. That's what we'll go with our defining event. So then we have a feature here called Rustic Hospitality. Since you come from the ranks of the common folk, you fit in among them with ease. You can find a place to hide, rest, or recuperate among the commoners. Unless you have shown yourself to be a danger to them, they will shield you from the law or anyone else searching for you, though they will not risk their lives for you. Alright, so then we have to pick a personality trait. I judge people by their actions, not their words. That seems like a good one. Alright, and then for ideal, people deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. That's a good one. Alright, the next category we have here is bonds. The first one is, I have a family, but I have no idea where they are. One day I hope to see them again. Number 2 is, I work the land. I love the land. I will protect the land. Number 3 is, a proud noble once gave me a horrible beating, and I will take revenge on any bully I encounter. Number 4, my tools are symbols of my past life, and I carry them so I will never forget my roots. Number 5 is, I protect those who cannot protect themselves. And finally, number 6 is, I wish my childhood sweetheart had come with me to pursue my destiny. I like number 6, actually. That's kind of interesting. Alright, and finally we pick a flaw. The tyrant who rules my land will stop at nothing to see me killed. I'm convinced of the significance of my destiny and blind to my shortcomings and the risk of failure. The people who knew me when I was young know my shameful secrets, so I can never go home again. I have a weakness for vices of the city, especially hard drink. Secretly, I believe that things would be better if I were a tyrant lording over the land. I have trouble trusting in my allies. Let's pick number 4. Alright, now that all that is done, we have to go and find the damage for Great Axe, Hand Axe, Javelin, and figure out our armor class. And then that's it. Alright, so for our primary weapon here is the Great Axe. You see it's worth 30 gold. It does 1d12 slashing damage. It weighs 7 pounds. It's heavy and it's two-handed. That means you have to use 2 hands to use it. So let's go ahead and fill that in. 1d12. And the melee weapon uses your strength, so it is 1d12 plus 2, because you add your strength bonus. And your attack bonus, since you're proficient with the weapon, adds your strength and your proficiency, so that is a 4. Let's go back and look at the hand axe now. Alright, so the hand axe is light, it's thrown. It has a short range of 20 and a long range of 60. It does 1d6 and it's worth 5 gold. So if you throw it and you're within that 20 feet, you're good. If you want to throw it past that, you can throw it up to the 60 feet, but you roll with disadvantage on your attack, which means you roll 2d20 and you take the lowest of the dice, and advantage would be the highest of the dice. Alright, so you're proficient with the Hanax, so you add your proficiency bonus, but since it's a thrown weapon, it uses your dexterity, but your dexterity is still a 2, it matches your strength bonus, so the result is essentially the same. 2 plus 2 is 4. So you get a +4 bonus when you throw your hand axe. And then last we have the javelin, which is 5 silvers. It does 1d6 piercing, and it is it is a thrown weapon. Its range is 30 to 120. So you can see one does piercing and one does slashing. So you have 2 different throwing options. Alright, so let's look over the character sheet just to make sure I got everything. Oh wait, we have to figure out the armor class. We still haven't done that yet. Since you're unarmored, your armor class will be 10 plus your dexterity bonus, so it would make your armor class a 12. But you have an ability called Unarmor Defense. Alright, so Unarmor Defense is on page 48 of the player's handbook. It says, while you're not wearing any armor, your armor class equals 10 plus your dex plus your con modifier. You can use a shield and still gain this benefit. So that's important to remember if you wish to use a shield in a one-handed weapon instead of your two-handed axe. So now that we're adding 10 plus our dex and also our con, that 12 AC is now going to be a 14 AC, which is, it's a little bit squishy, but it's still pretty decent for level 1 character. And you can increase that as you go because you're going to put points into your dex or your con when you level, once you get your ability score increases if you wish to, or you could, use that shield, which we're not using right now, and just a generic shield will give you 2 more to your AC, so that would turn that 14 into a 16. Don't forget, there's a lot of shields that are magical in nature too, so they add +1, 2, or 3 bonus to that too. And so there's different ways you can increase your AC if you're not happy with it, especially if your role is a main tank. You want to increase that. Alright, so that's pretty good. Our spellcasting modifier for our light spell is charisma, but you don't need it really, so because light it's not an offensive spell, it's something you just cast. But it's nice to have that handy though, for you to be able to cast light at will as a barbarian. Certainly, in a dungeon where you don't want to keep lighting and unlighting a torch, lighting and extinguishing a torch. What else do we have? Oh, passive perception. Passive just simply means what you can see without having to look around for it. It's 10 plus your wisdom score modifier, so that's a 1. So 10 plus 1 is 11, so that's your passive. So anything that is rather obvious, basically. With a passive like 11, you're not going to notice terribly much as you're going, but that's up for your DM to give you those hidden little ooey gooey details. So there we go. We're done. We got the languages. We got our tools. We got our money situated. We're all done. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this look on level 1 Barbarian. I'll go ahead and upload this, and then Erdlin will be available in the comment section pinned below for you to download for free off of Google Drive. There's no requirement. I would like you to be a subscriber just to help me out, so I could keep helping you out, but it's not a requirement. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon with another video.